Hello and welcome to my beginner's guide to Phasmophobia. Today I'll be giving you a rundown of all of the essential skills to play Phasmophobia. This guide is targeted at absolute beginners and as such will be only going over the basics. I may create more advanced guides targeted at higher skill levels at a later date, but for now I want to create a guide that will help people gain confidence in their ability to play Phasmophobia. And to begin this guide, I'll preface this with a disclaimer that I'm going to be explaining how game systems work, and that this guide will be teaching a methodology to find and figure out the ghost. This can take the magic away from those people who want to experience the game for the first time and roleplay the experience. So if you were like me and saw those ghost hunting shows in the early 2000s and want to really experience playing that yourself, then you may want to leave, because once you know what's behind the curtain, the magic may be ruined. Alright, now we're in game, and we can start choosing some things. First of all, I'm going to add all the items I have. For beginners, I'm going to make some plain recommendations. You should try to play on professional. Amateur and intermediate as options will just limit your profits without any real benefits. If you play correctly, there's no more risk in playing professional over the other two. I should also mention that custom difficulty is a very real and rewarding opportunity for those willing to try it, and in most cases you can have a higher multiplier than Nightmare while still being easier. It just takes a few sacrifices and knowing your own playstyle. And this guide is also just going to be tailored to the solo experience, since that's the one you can have the most consistent experience on. Multiplayer can complicate things a lot. You have limited resources that you all have to share. After you've chosen your difficulty, I can now recommend what map you should play on. Now, everyone starts with Tanglewood Street House. This is a solid map to practice on. I also recommend Willow Street as a overall solid choice. Both of these options have 2 floors, and floors are very important to maps as you can generally only hear what's on your current floor. So these maps only have a ground floor and a basement, meaning that you'll be able to basically hear everything on the map on the ground floor, and if you don't hear anything, you can then go to the basement and see if the ghost has been messing around there. And then there's also Camp Woodwind for a slightly different experience. The campsite maps are very unique in that they are the only outdoors maps, and that creates a whole new set of challenges. Generally, the barriers between rooms and stuff are very soft, meaning the ghosts will roam very easily outside, and it can be sometimes difficult to locate certain evidences, so be aware of that. I don't recommend anything larger than these maps because they can create a larger barrier to entry by making it more difficult to find the ghost initially. And as a beginner, I think you should focus on your identification skills more so than your finding skills. Because finding is just very luck-based on most maps, especially on the very large ones like Asylum, for instance. So let's load into a game. I think I'll choose Actually, I'll choose Tanglewood because that's the one anyone, even level 1 players, can play on. And I have all the items, but don't worry if you don't, you can still follow along as best as you can. Alright, so now we're in the truck. There's some key information you'll want to gather when you load into the truck. First of all, you can see the ghost's name. Second, you can see what it responds to. In this case, I'm on professional, so it says we're unsure. But since we're playing single player, that literally doesn't matter. Ghosts will always respond when there's only one person. The only difference is in multiplayer, they can either only respond to one person at a time, meaning that only if one person's around them they'll respond, or they can respond when there's everyone around and stuff. But they will always respond if there's only one person at all. Now this is the board where all of your photos from the photo camera will be shown. So if you take a photo, you'll see it on here. And then there's the objectives for the game. or for the match. So here we have our first one, have a member of your team witness a ghost event. That is one that anyone can do. It just requires luck in the ghost doing things to you. Second is average sanity below 25%. That is tied to the Sanity System, which you can see on the screen here. The average is on top. Since I'm a single player right now, the average is 1 divided by 100 and stuff, so it's going to always be just my sanity. And then third is get a ghost to walk through salt. So in this case, the salt is a optional item that you may not have, but I have it and I can place it down and get the ghost to go through salt. And then here on these clipboards are the daily and weekly objectives. So I already have a few of these done. I already have some progress in the weeklies. Now that we have discussed everything, what should you take on your first trip to the house? What you should take into the house? Generally, you're going to want to use a flashlight if you don't know the house, locations, layout. This is just so you have a light everywhere. The only difficulty that starts with the breaker on, which means you can have the light switches on, is amateur. But that really doesn't matter. We're going to just turn on the breaker anyways, so it's just not that big a deal. This metallic flashlight is the weaker flashlight. It has like a more like traditional bulb glow. This black light is a LED. It's much stronger. It'll give you a larger view. So if you have strong flashlight, take the strong flashlight. And next I'm going to take an EMF sensor. It's this nice little thing here. You can see it has 5 LEDs on it. Base EMF is always 1. There's always passively 1 EMF. So you can see it can go up to 4 more, which at the end is 5. Is the EMF 5, which is red. That's an evidence, and we'll be going over evidence later. And then you can take a photo camera, which is just to take photos. Photos are used for money, and everyone has at least one by default. It's part of the starter equipment. So, yeah. It's good to just take it at the start. You never know if the ghost will just give you an event instantly or something. Plus, it will help you get your money faster. You don't have to go back and get it later. So, grab the keys, press that button, get out of the truck. Let's go into the house now. Now that we have the keys, we can just open it up and unlocks the door. Right here is the car key. You're going to want that because if the ghost is in the garage, it can trigger the truck, or it can trigger the alarm on the car in the garage, and it's pretty annoying, so yeah. Here, this closet is blocked. This is a hiding spot. We'll be going over that in a minute. You can see this bathroom's nice and empty. Alright, and then this closet is also blocked. And in this room here, okay. This is another hiding spot that's blocked. I'll be explaining hiding spots in a second. I kind of want to find what cursed object I have so I can explain cursed objects. And here, this closet is not blocked. You can hide in here if the ghost is hunting. The ghost can choose to open the doors of the closet. I think I heard it. It's a computer. But it's okay. We're gonna just keep going. There can be a cursed object here, but I can see that not there already. Here in the garage, we don't have their power source, but we do have a cursed object. We have the Voodoo doll. Now, every time you play Phas, on the normal difficulties, you'll only have 1 cursed object at a time. This is chosen 1 of 6, and each cursed object has a unique spawning point on each map. In the case of the Voodoo doll here, it spawned on this garbage can. It'll always spawn on this garbage can on Tanglewood. And if you grab it, you can see, you can just hold it, and you'll be able to pull a pin if you right-click with it. I'm not going to do that because it has a chance to start a hunt, and I'm not ready for explaining hunts and stuff. But here we can see the bone. The bone spawns every time you play, It'll choose a random spot in one of the rooms to spawn in. In this case, it spawned here in the garage, right next to the cursed object, which is really convenient. There's multiple models it can take. I can show you all of them in the lobby here. But in this case, we have a spine, and you can take a photo of it, and then you can grab it. I also took a photo of the cursed object. You can always take photos of cursed objects, and they're worth a good little bit of money. And here we have another variety of the closet kind of hiding spot. It's the lockers, and you can just stand in here and close them, and then open them. The ghost can also open them just like the closets. So now we're going to go into the basement because, one, we haven't heard many things, and two, that's where the power breakers. Yeah, that's kind of weird. Wait, but that's where the breaker spawns. Here we have a nice American-styled breaker, and you can switch it on and off. It has nice little LED indicators. Now that the power is on, we can turn on the light to the basement, and you can see it's all nice and lit. Yeah. And we can, of course, turn it off if we want to. Oh, and we have freezing, so it is a basement ghost. How nice. I just played VR and had a basement ghost here, too. So, that is freezing temperatures. It's tied into the temperature system, which is a passive part of Phas, which you can kind of not notice a lot of the time. But the fact that it's freezing means that we have freezing temperatures here in this journal. This journal is really nice to use. It has multiple tabs here. You can see there's a lot of descriptive information here. We can see that this is my 1,847th case. We can see the ghost name. We can see it. We don't know what it responds to. We can see the keys that we've grabbed. Ooh, it just hit this. So we can take a photo of that interaction. And then I'm going to take a second one because that can tell us if we have fingerprints or not without using... Yes, we have fingerprints. How great. Fingerprints is another evidence that we can have. So we can use the journal here to see we have a very small variety of ghosts now that it could possibly be. And, oh, we have EMF 5 now too. Great. So we have a djinn here. Wonderful. And we can take a photo of that too. Anything that leaves EMF, you can take a photo of. So that's like prime example material. I didn't even have to bring in extra evidence items. But yeah, so the journal. Here you can see your objectives too, and see here, it's just some like lore stuff. And then there's the photos tab where you can see all the photos we've taken. So you can see that fingerprints was given away here. Even though we don't have a UV flashlight, we can see that there's fingerprints on things. The game doesn't know whether or not we've seen them. And then, yeah, the evidence tab I've shown you, we can mark in what evidence we have, and we can mark off what evidence we don't have. So we already know that it's djinn because there's nothing else it can be. Every ghost has 3 unique evidence to it. There is no ghost that overlaps evidence except Mimic. Mimic has a 4th forced evidence as its ability, which is a ghost orb. So you can have, if you have 4 evidence, it's always going to be Mimic. On Nightmare, if you have 3 evidence, it's a Mimic because Nightmare forces the ghost to only show 2 of its evidences, making it a little bit harder to know what it is. So also I wanted to go back now to the hiding spot stuff. Here in the basement we have a environmental kind of hiding spot. So we saw in nursery there was also one of these, but it was blocked off. Here the game has added an object to make this into a very nice hiding spot. There's these nice big pieces of, like, I don't know, this isn't plywood because plywood's solid. This is like fiber board or something. But yeah, we can hide here. The ghost will generally not see us here. The ghost can still catch you if you have your items on, your electronics on and stuff, so it's still not 100% safe, but I think it's safer generally than the closets and stuff, especially those that really hide you in like that one. Because the ghost can't just choose to open the door and kill you. And you can see here the closet's closed off because it has items filling it. That's one of the downsides of playing higher difficulties, is that it'll block off these spots, so you have less choice in where to hide. And now here in nursery, you can see that this is a blocked off environment to spot. You can see. Okay. I think that's actually a reference to Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm not too sure though. So we've gotten those evidences. I haven't really explained too much how the evidences work, but I'll get to it here in a second. There's a lot more evidence items. I'm going to edit in information about them, hopefully. But for now, let's go and show you fingerprints, hopefully. The ghost shouldn't have faded away. Alright. It did fade away. Oh, there it is. So you can see here on this cooler that there's a nice big handprint, and it just faded away because the timer ended. Oops. We have to hide. So on all the default difficulties, there's a timer for how long you have before the ghost starts actually hunting. You can hear it scream and the door slam. So we knew it was about to hunt, so we got the hell out of it. So not every ghost will leave fingerprints, but they will always leave UV footprints. I'll be able to show you later. Now the hunt is over and the lights are off because the hunt will turn off the lights when it's done. So we can turn them back on, the breaker's not off. So we can see that now after the hunt that we are at 45 sanity. So we got really unlucky in a way, and the ghost basically hunted us as soon as it could. So we were hovering like right below 50 when the ghost hunted. Yeah, the ghost hunted us at pretty much the time it could. Jinns are default sanity hunters. There are a few ghosts that can hunt you at above 50. Demon, notably, can hunt you at like 65, I think. Phase can hunt you at like 70. And this is based off of your average sanity in multiplayer. But there is a way to fix your sanity. In this case, we don't have the other item that can do it, but we do have sanity pills. So we can just take a pill and you can see our sanity is way past the threshold now. We're fine. We haven't gotten near our sanity average objective, but that's fine. We're going to be taking a lot of time. We can grab salt now, so I can show you that salt is left, leaves UV artifacts too. No thing. Oh yeah, it just came back. Oh no, I don't have the UV. Oh no, off the light. Here we can see a UV footprint. Every ghost will leave these, even if it's not fingerprints. And turn off the light up here. Okay, and here we can see like a trail because the ghost does move through salt in like a way that's predictable. You can take pictures of these. You can take pictures of the UV footprints too. Okay, so back to explaining fingerprints. So fingerprints, there's a timer after the ghost interacts with certain objects, doors, light switches, and these coolers, for example. You'll see a handprint or a fingerprint on the, in the case of like the light switches, it's fingerprint. And it'll be revealed with UV, but if you take a photograph after you get like an interaction photo, it'll show you if you have fingerprints or not, which is what I did earlier. EMF 5, which we had earlier, EMF 5 works by the ghost has like a small percentage to show you EMF 5 whenever it interacts with something, instead of whatever normal EMF we'd have. So in the case of the rocking chair, it's normally 2, and it showed us 5. That can be tricky because sometimes the ghost will just give you bad RNG and not show you EMF 5. This is an event, but like the ghost is super far away from us. It's literally upstairs. That should be a ghost photo. I have no idea why the ghost decided to offend up here. I think that's a glitch. But yeah, now we've witnessed a ghost event. That's another objective, and we've gotten a photo of the ghost, which you can get it during a hunt, or you can get it during an event. It's worth a lot of money, so it's advisable that you do so. Events basically work by the ghost choosing to just do an event. They're targeted at players usually, so it's really random that the ghost did one up here. I think that happened while I was in VR as well, which is really strange. That's not something that normally happens. But yeah, so it will typically choose to do it on close to player. There's a few types of them. Sometimes it'll be a mist ball that just goes at you and whispers. The fact that it wasn't that means it can't be a shade, by the way. In this case, it was a person terrorizing. Yeah, so that is something interesting to mention. Even with fingerprints, if the ghost does an event, it won't leave a fingerprint on like a light switch or something, because it'll always just turn off the lights when it's doing an event with some people. That's a nice little caveat. There's a lot more evidences to show that I don't have. So dots is a passive evidence. I'm not gonna go to the ghost room because we don't have these evidences anyways. You can place it on the floor, and then it makes this nice green thing. You'll be able to see the ghost run through it if the ghost has dots. The writing book is similar. You place it down, and then the ghost will choose to write in it. I'll leave some writing and stuff, and the pen will be thrown away. Now, if it's hard to see the book, it can be kind of hard to see the writing sometimes, but you can always look for the pen if it's written. And next is spirit box. So you can turn on the spirit box, and then you can talk to it, and you can ask it questions like, "Where are you?" And you'll see on this nice little thing, it has a little X. If the ghost responds, it'll light up the little ghost thing. But the ghost isn't here, and it's not in the spirit box ghost, so it won't give us anything. You can also ask questions like, "How old are you?" or "Are you friendly?" It'll respond to those as well. You can only ask certain questions. The game isn't smart enough to have some AI in it determining what kind of thing you're asking. Next is Ghost Orb. Ghost Orb is something you can only see with a video camera set to night vision. There will be a nice little orb floating around in the darkness, so it can be hard to see sometimes. So if you don't have an evidence, you should keep checking for it, or keep checking for aim at 5 or something. Yeah, I think we've covered all of them. Spirit box, writing, freezing, fingerprints, aim at 5, yeah. So I'll explain a little bit more about the temperature system now. So temperatures in the house will start low when the power is off, but if you turn the power on, eventually they'll get to the highs of 20 because the heat is turned on. But in the case of the ghost room, it'll always be low. It'll always be below 0 Celsius if it's freezing. If it's above 0 Celsius, it's not freezing. In Fahrenheit, this would be 33.8 as the determining point. Alright, so now we can talk about the beautiful, beautiful cursed objects. So this time around, we got the Voodoo doll. You can see I pulled a pin in it for an interaction. That interaction gave us EMF 5, very nice. That was another interaction. And then that was the heart pin it started on. Oh no. Then this is a cursed hunt. It's longer than normal hunts. It starts instantly. And any cursed object that starts a hunt will make a cursed. It's double the duration of a normal hunt, and it's pretty dangerous. There are 6 total cursed objects. There is a cursed mirror. You grab the mirror and you can right click to see wherever the ghost room is. It'll show you from the ghost's perspective where it is. There's also tarot cards, which has a variety of things you can do. I don't really feel like listing them all off at once, but it can do some things like force a hunt or mess with your sanity. Every cursed object, by the way, can force a hunt. Third is the music box. It's a little cursed music box that you play the song and the ghost will start singing to it wherever it is. You get too close, it'll start a ghost event where the ghost will start chasing you, and then the ghost will chase after the music box, and then it can cause the music box to break, and that'll force the ghost to hunt. The music box will also break if you just throw it, or if you run out of sanity, I believe. Fourth would be the Ouija board, similar to the spirit box. The Ouija board can be asked questions. You can answer a variety of them, some more than the spirit box. You can ask it, for instance, where the phone is, where the ghost is, how old is the ghost specifically, You can ask it about your sanity, and it'll respond in a few different ways. So you can determine your sanity on nightmare mode, even though you don't have the sanity monitor. It drains sanity in exchange for these questions, so don't do it too much. And you can ask it to hide and seek, which will start a hunt. Then the last one we don't have here is the summoning circle, which is a nice little demonic circle with 5 candles that you light up, and a pentagram, and it forces a ghost event. And after the event is over, it'll start a hunt. It's actually very useful to get objectives done on it. But now we've done everything we can, so let's go back to the truck. Ooh. We're real low on sanity.
Welcome back. I've got some jobs ready for you.
Oh, did I circle the mimic for example and then forget to go back to Jin? Whoops. I'm gonna go into another real quick and display some more objects and stuff.
Check the equipment.
Alright, we got the saw, we got the motion sensor and parabolic objectives. Let's focus on objectives this time, and some more of the optional items. So I'm probably gonna cut this up a lot. My recording is already at 36 minutes. Video's hopefully shorter. But yeah, I'll get to you when we can explain some of the items better. Ouija board, hopefully I showed you video of this already working, but we're gonna ask the ghost its location. Where are you? Oh, it's here in the garage. And this... Oh, it's an EMF 5 ghost again. I forgot to get the keys this time. I'll be right back. So with the Ouija board, we can ask more questions, like I said before. So, where is the bone? Where is the bone? Master bedroom? So here we find the bone. Alright, so one of the objectives this time around is motion sensor. So motion sensor, generally you place it, and then it'll be able to be activated. Hi! That actually scared me a little bit. Oh, what a jerk. So generally with the motion sensor, you place it and then it can be activated. I think the ghost might have actually... Oh, I did it! Oh! But that's good. I can show something. So you can place it anywhere, any height, it's fine, but whatever. But there is actually a height. This ghost really likes its events. There, now I have a ghost photo. How rude. But there is actually a technique to it where the ghost is taller than the player. So you can place it slightly above where the player can activate it, and you will not activate it, but the ghost can. So just right about there. So right about that height there. Maybe a little bit lower. Yeah. So you can still sometimes activate it if you have like an item in your hand sometimes. It's a little glitchy, but generally, if you want to make sure that it's always the ghost activating it, you can put it around that height. Just make sure to test it. Next, let's go over the parabolic and sound sensors. Let's see here. These are both tied into the audio system of the game. So basically, the parabolic will listen for any sound that the player makes or the ghost makes. Sometimes you can pick up ambient sounds too. So basically, if you place things down like dots, for instance, has a sound to it, and Spirit Box has a very obvious sound to it. But also, if you like open a door, it can pick up that sound of like opening and closing doors. And they can also pick up the ghost event from a very large distance. and so can the sound sensor. So the sound sensor, you can see the output of it in the van. There's very nice map showing its whole range and everything. And so it'll pick up any sounds. It's more useful on large maps where you need to know like where the ghost is more than anything at first. Our objective is not done because that is just the ghost turning something on. So we can listen for a little bit, find the sound. But yeah, when you're using the Parabolic, you just want to sweep and try to listen for the ghost's unique sounds, because those are the ones that will activate the objective. Yes, that whispering there is a Parabolic sound, so now the objective is done. So the Crucifix is an item you place down, and within a radius of it, the ghost can't hunt, and it will instead burn the Crucifix. It can burn the Crucifix twice before it'll be able to hunt in that area of about around 3 meters. It's very useful if you want to play a little bit safer. Let's see here. Salt, I tried to explain earlier, but didn't do too well. Oh yeah, here's the head-mounted camera. It's just a camera that you can see. It's head-mounted, and yeah, it's not too useful. I'd actually advise you just skip it altogether. Smudge sticks and candle. Let's explain these. So the candle is a light source. While you're holding onto it and it's lit, you will not lose sanity. It has a small radius, so it's not as useful as a flashlight, but it's a good alternative if you're playing a large map, maybe, and just don't want to lose sanity too quickly. Maybe I haven't explained the Sanity System too well yet. So Sanity, it passively drains in the darkness. I think it also drains slightly in the light, but generally the light is better. But the darkness, you lose sanity. And at a certain sanity threshold, the ghost will be able to hunt you. It's dependent on what ghost it is, but the standard is 50%. Average sanity is the threshold to hunt. There are some ghosts that break this rule, though, so be careful. So the smudge stick, you can use it for 2 purposes. You can distract the ghost away from you in a hunt because it won't want to be around the smudge. Or you can cleanse the room, which will prevent the ghost from hunting for a short period of time. The cleanse is an objective, and so is the repel while hunting. The cleanse will also activate during your repel, so you can get both at once. So I'm just going to cleanse this room right now. I have a very big suspicion. I have to confirm. Yes. This is a wraith. So earlier I showed footsteps. I knew that this was a wraith because it teleported onto me and left EMF 5. The wraith has a few abilities. Also ghost abilities. Every ghost has a set of abilities, except basically spirit, which is spirit's ability is that it can be cleansed longer than normal. But yeah, it doesn't have anything interesting. So the wraith, it can teleport to a player, and it will leave EMF 5, or not EMF 5. It'll leave an EMF trace, normally 2, but since wraith is also EMF 5, it can sometimes be EMF 5. But its second ability that can really be easily deterministic on Nightmare is that it won't leave footprints after the salt. So it'll only leave the salt footprint, and this photo will not count, even though, I don't know, I feel like it should. It will count for any other ghost, though. Just not a wraith. I think that's because of how it's coded. I don't know, I'm not a developer. I think I've gone over basically everything for beginners, which is really nice. 2 games, a lot of talking, a lot of editing. Hopefully I've described almost anything. I guess I could force a hunt and show you what smudging echoes during a hunt is like. Alright, so we have the Ouija board here. I'm going to use it to get some good money, and then I'll force a hunt. So we can start with Marco. Marco. Knock knock. And I don't know what else. Am I insane? Maybe. Very nice. And these all count for unique interactions. And then I can ask hide and seek. And they'll start a countdown. But before that countdown goes, I'm going to throw it, and I'm going to force a hunt. Hopefully before. It didn't go. Ooh, it's near me. So it wasn't in its room. But oh, it's not checking where I am. Hey, come over here. Yeah. So this is a technique called looping. You can loop the ghost, but the ghost does slowly get faster the more it sees you. So now you can see it's a little bit faster. I'm gonna smudge it away though. It did not get smudged effectively, or it did actually. I'm gonna hide here. It can still go towards you during the smudge. It'll just choose a random direction to go. It's not literally repelling away from you, it's ignoring you. But hiding during a hunt, don't have electronics on. Make sure your flashlight is off. Don't talk, and you'll be fine. And so, yeah, that's pretty much everything. I've shown you basically everything about this game for a beginner. It's been a moving ghost. Very good time. 2 ghosts found. Hopefully we'll be exercised. But that's been everything for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's helped you. So I started a new hunt. Every hunt after a cursed hunt will be a cursed hunt. So this will be pretty long. Ooh, I have to use my sprint up too much. Ah, I'm dead. Ah, hunt me. So that was a hiding spot, and the ghost still killed me, even though it's in a hiding spot. In fact, it went right through the chair there that is placed there to become a hiding spot. All because I had my flashlight on. So now that I'm properly done, thank you for watching. I've really put a lot of effort into this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it helped you improve at the game. I hope you continue watching my videos. I'm hopefully going to put out some more guides, some ghost-specific guides, some more specific analysis and use of items and stuff. But again, thank you for watching. Commenting, rating, subscribing, all helps, but I'm not going to say you should like it or anything. But anyways, peace.